And welcome back guys to another test review. Today we'll be doing the test review on the Softail Lowrider 107. So without further ado, let's get into the specs. So now we've done the specs, let's go into the sound test. Just to make it clear, this is a complete stock lowrider, so it's not going to sound great guys. However, if I was going to change the exhaust system on this, I'd probably go for something like a Bassini, because I think that suits the lowrider shape. But without further ado, let's hear what this bike sounds like. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you know the Lowrider has been one of those bikes that I've been really passionate about. I've had the 2017 and 2016 Lowrider S, one with a 110 and one with a 117. That bike has been absolute trick. And what I have seen with these Lowriders is that people that have bought them have either kept them stock like this, or they've transformed them into the FX DLS look. For me personally, straight off the bat, I do quite like the chromosexual look, but at the same time I think I would much prefer the blacked out look for the Lowrider. But that's enough of my waffle. Let's get on the bike and see what the ergonomics are like. So jumping on the bike, that kickstand, flick it back. So in terms of the mid controls then, for me, as you guys may have seen with the Street Bob customization series that I did, the mids still feel a little bit tight, so forward controls on this Softail for me is absolutely perfect. To give you guys some idea on me in terms of how tall I am, I'm 5'9", I weigh now 68 kilograms. In terms of the controls in front, what I like about Harley Davidson is that the controls are very simple. If we go to the right hand side on the handlebars, then you've got engine, stop, start, hazards, and then you've got your right turn signal. Then if you move over to the left, you've got headlights, main beam, you've got the cycle button which will go through the horn. Let's test the horn. Beautiful. And then we've got the left turn signal. With the cycle button in front, you've got time, total miles covered, trip A, trip B, and then your reserve there. All the good things that you need on a ride. Other things that I definitely appreciate with the Softails is that you've got this USB plug. For me, I've just done Brecken, and I wish I had that on my Road King Special, because that would have helped massively in my sat nav. And then at the front then you've got this grey LED light, which is a much better addition to the range versus the old halogen bulbs that they had. Then in front you've got these handlebars which sling back into you. For me, this is the first time I've been on a bike like this style of handlebars. So I'm really keen to understand what this is like when, for example, you go around a roundabout and doing all those manoeuvres. The other thing that I'm noticing is that you've got this really nice stock seat. It reminds me very much of the Saddleman style seat. Good lumbar support, it feels nice and spongy, so perhaps that'll be nice on a good long distance ride. So as always, we'll be going down Beachy Head today. The conditions are super windy at the moment, so I'm going to take my time a little bit, but we'll be testing the manoeuvrability of this bike, just how it feels, and give you guys some solid feedback from my perception. As always, I'd always say to you, if you like the looks of this bike, make sure you test ride it and find out if it meets your needs. Let's go! Okay, so first impressions. I've been on this bike for a couple of minutes and straight away the mid controls are reminding me that I like forwards. So it just reminds me back to when I had that Softail Street Bob. Switching to that forward position, it just gave you a really nice relaxed feel, whereas in this position it's not like mids on a Sportster where you feel like you're tucked up in the fetal position, but it's just not that comfortable. And again, just to reiterate, 5'9". The one thing that I'm really digging is that seat. It's got great lumbar support at the back, seat's nice and comfortable. At this moment I just couldn't see me changing this seat. The other thing that's really interesting is that the handlebar feel, it's pretty nice. The handlebars that I like usually are in shoulder height, you know, and I like that relaxed feel with the handlebars, but this in itself is pretty good. The way the mirrors are set up as well means that I've got good visibility all behind me. The other thing that I'm noticing as well is just going through the gears is really slick. It's not much of a clunk. and I quite like that. So coming into the first part of the test is the roundabout test. We're going to see what this bike is like in terms of manoeuvrability, and actually with the handlebars, how they actually feel. Right indicator on, let's do a full 360. It just feels really, really positive. No counter steering needed, you know, not much pull in the handlebars at all. It's just a good balanced bike. Absolutely love it. Let's come out of here onto the straight and open it up. Let's go. And as I'm just getting battered by the wind at the moment, the one thing I'd say is that with that 107 engine, it's got enough poke. I really rate the 107. I've always got on with it, and I think in this lowrider it's a nice fit. And we need to remember that on a cruiser bike, it's not about how fast or how quick we can get somewhere. It's just about, well, looking cool whilst getting there. Going through the next roundabout, and again dipping it into the right, then left. No issues at all. Open it up into this 60. Whilst I'm in this 60, then one of the things that I'm looking for is the long distance capability of the Softail. So things like vibrations, how the bike feels, those are the key things. Now bear in mind, the conditions that I'm riding in today are very, very windy. It is not nice. However, as I'm at 60, there's no vibrations coming through the handlebars, or at least very little. And then in the mid controls, very little again. The other thing as well is that this seat is still super duper comfortable. So for me, this is a bike like I could happily do 130, 180 miles on in a day, no problem at all. One of the things I like to make sure of is that in an urban environment, you know, with relatively lowish speeds, you can really maneuver the bike. And what I love about this, I think with the handlebar styling, it is definitely helping that aspect. It's just really different. Coming to a national speed limit, I'm in second gear, let's open it up. Just bearing in mind we got new tyres on, but straight away one of the things that I'm feeling is that the suspension is just really, really responsive. I haven't adjusted the suspension at all to my body weight, but I bet after a little bit of tweaking it'd be even better. One of the other things I'm absolutely loving is definitely this seat. Can't get over it. For a stock seat, it's keeping my bum in place, comfortable, and then that lean in, no issues at all, and just powering it out. Haha! The one thing I'm thinking of in my head at the moment is if only Harley did an S version of this. I think it would be an absolute mental bike. For me personally, I'd definitely love to see this all blacked out 117. It'd be super sick. But into a 60, shoulder check, let's overtake here. Sunday drivers at their best. Then we're coming right out into that countryside towards Beachy Head. Boom, look at the views here. Let's do some overtaking. Right shoulder check, open it up. Coming into another 60 then, coming up to the suspension part of the test. And a long right coming up. One of the amazing things about going towards Beachy Head is that this ride is perfect for Harleys for testing them out. Because it's the type of riding you would want to be doing into the left. Oh, watch the twig. Then open it up, coming into that long right, bit of bumpiness, lean into the right quite hard, but it's handling it well. Then straight into the suspension test, looking at the front suspension. How does it feel? How's it taking it? Overall it's pretty good. It's just super windy today, so it's really hard to pinpoint how good it is, because it is pushing me all over the place. And then opening it up, and that sound that comes from that Milwaukee 8 engine, I absolutely love it. The Milwaukee 8 for me has just been one of those motors I've really taken to, you know, from riding to Brecon on the Road King. Just a fantastic experience. Coming into the last part of the test, we're really going to test the manoeuvrability on this bike. So it's a sharp left, sharp right, then sharp left. So dropping it down, following the road round, hard right here, keeping the gas on, and then left. Oh, this wind is kicking my ass. And then opening it up. That was very decent. very decent. So that is the end of the review. So what did I think of the Lowrider? Firstly, I think from a maneuverability perspective, it is absolutely fantastic. Similar to the other Softails, it's just great round the twisties, easy to manage, no problems at all. Obviously the Milwaukee 8, I'm a massive fan of, great engine, and that 107 for me has just got enough poke for you. In terms of the styling, I think this is what it's going to boil down to. You're either going to love this bike, the look, or you're kind of not. So probably that's one of the biggest things that will make you make the decision on buying the Lowrider. One of the other things that I really like about the Lowrider, it's got a larger fuel tank. So visually looking at it, it looks much better, for example, compared to a Street Bob. As with all the other Softail Harleys, I love how simplistic the controls are. They're easy to use, no issues at all there whatsoever. As always, the suspension on the Softails is really, really good. I think today has been a little bit difficult for me to judge. I can't express to you guys how windy it is. I mean, I've just tried to take a picture of this bike and I was blown around like a rag doll. Like right now, I can't tell you how windy it is. It's ridiculous. So overall, there's lots of positives about this bike, but it comes down to, would I buy it? And as I mentioned, for me, it's about styling. If I bought this bike, there'd be a couple of things I'd want to do, and one of those is completely black it out. And I think cost-wise, it would be way too much. And there'd be other things I want to do as well. I think for someone looking at this and thinking this is a real nice chromosexual bike for them, it's absolutely ideal. I've absolutely loved going on the Lowrider today. As I mentioned, it's been really stupidly challenging in this weather, and I'm sure my microphone's picking it all up. So this is me signing out, getting back to base. Make sure you guys look after yourself out there on the road, careful in those conditions, and all the best. See you on the next vlog. Motonewbrider.